So beyond, okay, so real quick, how many of you wrote it like this? I'm not telling you if it was right or wrong, I'm just asking you how many of you wrote it like this. Okay, so the one thing I want to point out, and I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's wrong. This one, when it's subtracting, it's a lot more complicated because of when they say subtract 9 from 17. 9 from 17. So you have, just because the numbers are 9 first and then 17 does not mean you write it 9 first and then 17. 9 from 17. So what number goes first? So anyway, subtracting 9 from 17. 9 from 17. A lot of people end up getting that wrong. And I'm not saying anything about anyone who wrote it like this. It happens every year. Right. And if you did any kind of mental math, or just looked at it and went, oh wait, 9 minus 17, we can't do that in 5th grade.
I did that because I wrote it like that, and then I was like, oh.
Oh wait, yeah, 9 minus 17. We don't do that in 5th grade. Can you do it in higher grades? Yeah. But we did this in Miss Mason's class yesterday, and they said, well, what do we do when we get in higher grades and we can't? I said, well, let's see. You actually listen to the other things that I'm telling you. From 9 from 17. You pay attention to the other part of the lesson. So it's not just, oh, well, we can't do that. We don't do negatives. It's just 9 from 17. So you can't just focus on the mental math part of it and go, oh, well, 9 minus 17, we don't do that in 5th grade. In higher grades, you will do negatives. So you can't use that all the time. That rule will expire. Like sour milk, it will go bad. You can't use that rule all the time. Right now you can. But you just need to know that if you're subtracting a number from the other, the one in the back will go in the front. Then multiply by 3. Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Maybe I have an answer.
So it's like,
hold on. The times 3 can go in the back or in the front. The times 3 can go on either side.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter where it goes. Because the only ones, like adding, it doesn't matter what order. Multiplying, doesn't matter what order. But subtracting, it does matter what order. Because 5 minus 3 is not the same as 3 minus 5. And dividing, it matters. 4 divided by 2 is not the same as 2 divided by 4. Are y'all trying to figure that out in your head? Or you just kind of going, yeah, okay, whatever you say, lady.
How would you do it?
4 divided by 2 equals 2. 2 divided by 4 is a half. Because 2 divided by 4 is 2/4.
Or it could be so far about. It could be less than 5.
Oh, you're going to be so extra. Okay. So 4 times the sum of 7 and 9. So that problem right there is going to be worked by Tamaya. Tamaya.
Yeah.
Too bad. Yep.
What was that? Oh, God. Oh. Okay, so I didn't do it.
Excellent. And again, it doesn't matter what side the 4 times goes on. It can go in the front or the back. And even the sum of 9 and 7, or 7 and 9, you can flip these. However, if you just did 4 times 7 plus 9 without the parentheses, you would not get the same answer. Because it would make you multiply first. You wouldn't be doing 4 times the sum of these. You would be doing 4 times 7 plus 9. It wouldn't be the same as that expression. You would be doing this first because of your order of operations instead of 4 times the sum. Because remember how you multiply first. So unless you have the parentheses, which is what you're supposed to do first. The product of 6 and 7 plus 5, which would be lavender. So the product of 6 and 7, right here, times 6 and 7 plus 5. So that one you don't need the parentheses because you would multiply first anyway. But I just like the parentheses because it kind of points your attention to, hey, I'm doing these first. Anyway, so number 5, 7 more than the product of 8 and 4. 7 more than the product of 8 and 4. Eli went to go get snack. 14. Tanaya. Seven more than the product of 8 and 4. Number 5. Good. So 7 more. It just means that it's getting bigger. It's going up. Getting larger. So the product of 8 and 4. So the product means you're multiplying 8 and 4. Then you're taking that product, and then it's 7 more. So it has to get higher. 7 more. 9 less than the product of 5 and 7. Hunter. Okay, so how many of you wrote it like I wrote it? With 9 minus 5 times 7. Okay? How many of you wrote it? I'm going to put parentheses on there just because I like parentheses. How many of you wrote it like Hunter wrote it? If you wrote it like Hunter, you are correct. If you wrote it like me, you are not correct. Okay, I intentionally wrote it wrong. Now, I want you to look at this and try a quick mental math and see if you can do it.
35.
This is what? 35. Can you do 9 minus 35 in 5th grade? No.
Negative 26. I wrote it wrong.
It would be negative.
Negative 26.
So we don't do negatives. Now you will eventually, so you don't want to use that as the only reason why you wouldn't write it that way. So you just want to put Antoine's, just kind of keep it in the basket. So 9 less than. So if we're doing more, then we know that we have to add. But if we're doing less, that means that we would subtract. So 9 less than the product. So we find the product, and then we need to go 9 less. So when you take that product and take 9 out of it. 9 less. Take 9 out of it, which would. So that's why this one doesn't work. Not just the fact that the math in 5th grade won't work, but because this is not 9 less. This is 9 minus the product. The way that this would be worded, this would be 9 minus the product. But this is 9 less. So you take the product and you've got to take the quotient of 28 divided by 4 increased by 3. Here. Aaron. Correct, sir. So quotient is just the answer that you get when you divide. So the quotient of 28 divided by 4 increased by 3. When you increase something, you're making it larger. You're making it go higher. It's getting bigger. So I need to take my answer, my quotient, and add 3 to it. Subtract 7 from the sum of 28 and 2. Myra. Subtract 7 from, which means 7 should go in the back. 7 from the sum of 28 and 2. It's not the sum of 28 and 2 from 7. 7 from the sum of 28 and 2. 5 more than the product of 9 and 19. Eli.
Okay.
Good. So 9 times 19 plus 5. Good. The quotient of 14 divided by 7 increased by 11. Don't have that. Varun.
What number is he?
24. You push kind of hard like you're writing on paper. It's fine. You won't break it. Like you're coloring with a crayon. It's fine. You ever written on a smartboard before? Yeah, if you just like you're writing with a crayon or a pencil, you will not break this thing. Well, you could, but you won't push too hard. It's fine. So 14 divided by 7, adding 11 in the back. Very good. And just so you know, I record my lessons and then later I post them on YouTube. So I just said your name and it's going to be on YouTube. Okay. 6 times, saying this so people don't watch it. 6 times the product of 2 and 5. Kieris. Come on, Grandpa, let's go. Come on. 6 times the product of 2 and 5. Times the product of 2 and 5. So times, what is the product mean? Product. Have you done this?
I did.
So look at the paper over there. I bet it's on it. Six times the product of 2 and 5. It's with you, however you write it too.
Does it matter where you put the parentheses?
On this one,
Yeah.
Me, I would still put it where it would need to go. I mean, I wouldn't put it there because that doesn't follow what it's saying.
So would that be wrong then?
You would get the same answer, but does this match what it's saying? This is 5 times the product of 6 and 2. Technically, you would get the same answer, but this expression does not match what it's saying. So if it's on a test and you had to match the expression to the statement, does that match? no, this one does. So, would you get the same answer? Yeah, because multiplication, you can kind of switch the numbers around and stuff. But if it's just strictly which one matches what it's saying, this one does, this one does not. So, does it matter? No, but sometimes does it matter? Yeah. Yes and no. It all depends on the situation. Did that answer make sense at all? If you're having to match the number sentence to the statement, yes, it matters. If you're just getting an answer, no. If you're just like solving it, no. When it's all multiplication, no, it doesn't matter. 3 times the difference between 42 and 13. Sure. Even though you were out of the room half the time, I still know you know what's right. Like having a 3-course meal over here. You're going to have to keep a bad breath when you're done. Jerky is. What? You think you guys say gross breath. Jerky gets nasty breath. I like jerky too, but it's bad breath. Oh. But I didn't even know it was in here. I didn't even know it was in there. Good. 3 times the difference, which means subtract 42 and 30. Woo! I'm flinging, I'm flailing. The difference between 17 and 50 increased by 7. The difference, whoever I pull, hopefully you got this far because I was telling you to go all the way to 16. The difference between 17 and 50 increased by 7. That one's a little bit more complicated. Hopefully you wrote it right. And luckily I wrote Quinn, who was sitting there raising his hand. Correct.
You don't have to write the
So, for this one, you can't put this, the difference between 17 and 50, increased by 7, not for 5th grade. Why? Yes, Kylie. It'll give you a negative. We don't do negatives in 5th grade. So if you wrote it like this, you weren't paying attention. And you just wrote numbers down. You went, oh, this number's first, this number's second. I'm going to write it like that. And you weren't paying attention. That would give you a negative 33. You're not paying attention. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. I know, God forbid, I'm not telling you to pay attention. Oh, no. The difference between 17 and 50. 50 would need to go first in 5th grade. Now, when you get in higher grades and they ask you to do this, your teacher will probably tell you to do something different. In 5th grade, bigger number goes first. The product of 9 and 8 divided by 6. Oh, and, throw this out there. I've said this before, but I know that half of what I say goes in one ear and out the other. You do not have to have parentheses for this. Why? Anybody remember?
Because when you have something on the same level or anything on the same level, then you just do it left side.
Correct. Adding and subtracting are equally important. That's why when I was writing PEMDAS, I wrote them side by side. The multiply, divide, add, subtract. I wrote them side by side.
What is P?
Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. Add and subtract, multiply, divide are equally important. So when that's all you have in the sentence, number sentence, you just go left to right. If there's no parentheses. So this one, you technically wouldn't need them. Technically, I just go left to right. Same difference. I mean, I just like them because it isolates what I'm supposed to do. Because I'm taking the difference and I'm increasing it by 7. So I like, when I'm doing expressions, I like putting the parentheses. So I'm going, okay, I'm taking that difference, I'm adding 7 to it. So I'm really, really paying attention to what it's saying and going, okay, the difference. Bam. That's what I'm doing. I'm increasing that by 7. This, I'm just taking the numbers and just throwing them on there and going, okay, there's a difference, there's an adding, there's this. And I'm not really pointing any attention to anything. And when you add the parentheses, you are. I'm kind of going, okay, this is my main thing right here. My difference between 17 and 50, I'm taking that, I'm adding 7 to it. So now I know I'm going, this is my main thing, adding 7. That's why I'm really kind of pushing the parentheses. The product of 9 and 8 divided by 6. Ooh, product of 9 and 8 divided by 6. Haley! Oh, man. I hope your hands are clean, because we just had Ebola going through the room, and we're like touching things. Eek, eek. How clean are your hands? How clean are they? They're clean. All clean. What all you even touching before you gave her those M&Ms? Huh? Before then, what all you even touching? Very good. Product of 9 and 8 divided by 6. Excellent. Oh, this is so ugly. That's the most disgusting handwriting ever. Can we put the 9 in the front?
14 T.
No. No.
Yeah.
Divided by. No. Because one thing, earlier in the year, one of the things that I had kind of, I don't want to say thrown at you, but one of the things is like I had kind of said that the symbol, you can kind of treat that as it's saying divided by. Oh yeah, you did say that. It's been a while. So this divided by 9. So something divided by 9. If we put the 9 in the front, that would be 9 divided by the sum of 14 and 22.
Yeah.
Would that give me the same answer?
No.
No. So can we switch it?
No.
No. Because this is the sum of 14 and 22 divided by 9. Some things it doesn't matter where we put it. Some things it does. Subtraction and division. It matters where you put it. Divided by 9. So it goes in the back. The difference between 34 and 42 divided by 4. And that would be, nope, not you. And not Antoine, because he's not here. Your stick is in here somewhere.
No.
It is, because I saw it the other day. Gordon!
Why didn't she drop it?
Because it was after we were done
Oh.
with whatever. And I said, oh, your stick is in there.
What?
And it always ends up against the side.
It's
All
fine.
right, so I'm going to,
Because in second grade,
all right, I don't have a 25.
in second grade, I didn't get caught with the sticks once.
All right, so
Just get the whole year.
I do have a 10. That's Terrell. I do have a 23. That's Zach. I do have a 21.
That's me.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, it just never gets picked.
It's bad luck.
I think I need to get one. I need to go watch it. But how? That's not because of that. No.
Good.
No.
So the difference between 34 and 42. So even though 34 is first, here, 42 has to go first here because we don't do negatives in 5th grade. 42 minus 34, I don't even know why you were up and I don't care. So 42 minus 34 divided by 4. Okay, so if you have not already done 17, 18, 19, and 20, I want you to do those. Not Andrew. Kelsey. Keep writing.
I need to forget what I was writing.
Come on, Kelsey.
Hey, I'm not going to go.
Good. Increase 23 by 7 and then divide 5. Oh,
Yes.
what's it? Because that's just what I picked. Hello. It's fine. So I'm decreasing the product of 13 times 2 by 8. So I'm taking this product and I'm decreasing it. I'm making it smaller. So I'm not going to take this 8 and put it in the front. Why are you scowling at me? What? You're making my angry face at me. Like you're,
I think
it's like
he's just.
I got it wrong. You're like angry face at me. So decreasing the product of these two numbers. Decreasing means you're making it smaller, so you're subtracting by 8. Multiply the sum of 45 and 11 by 2. Multiply the sum of 45 and 11 by 2. Zanaya. Oh, there's 2 more, and I'll pull the other page. Oh, there is that. I will, there's 2 more sticks. Okay, I'll pull up 2 more.
Oh,
That we have to do.
yeah.
Good. Multiplying the sum of 45 and 11. Sum means add. Multiplying that sum by 2. Good. Oh, there are 3 sticks. So you need to do the 3rd one too.
Oh, you're killing it.
Am I really? If I were killing you, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
So 5 times the difference between 19 and 13 is Jasmine. This one. So I'm going to do this one, and then you can worry about that. So do this one. Very good. 5 times, and you've got the difference between 19 and 13. So 19 minus 13, and you're multiplying that by 5. The product of 12 and 5 decreased by 17. It is you. Terrell. So the product of 12 and 5 decreased by 17. So you're taking the product and you're decreasing it, which means you're making it smaller. So you have to subtract it by 17. The quotient of 28 divided by 7 increased by 4. And that one is Zach. You just thought you were getting out of it. So the quotient of 28 divided by 7 increased, going up by 4. And that's it. Well, good job.